Hello again, and welcome to today's episode of ESL for You, the podcast where we talk about interesting topics in English. I'm your host, Fabi, and today we're going to talk about COVID-19, the pandemic that has changed the world. Well, as you already know, COVID-19 is a disease caused by a new coronavirus that emerged in late 2019 in China, apparently, or so they say. Don't ever believe everything you're told or everything you read or everything you hear. But well, anyway, they say it emerged in China. So, it can cause mild to severe symptoms such as fever, cough, shortness of breath, and loss of taste or smell. Some people may have no symptoms at all, but they can still spread the virus to others. The most serious cases can lead to pneumonia, organ failure, or death. Okay, so today I want you to learn some new vocabulary related to the coronavirus pandemic. So in this episode, we will focus on new vocabulary. All right, so, let's continue. As you already know, the virus spreads mainly through respiratory droplets that are released when someone coughs, sneezes, or talks. It can also be transmitted by touching contaminated surfaces and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The best way to prevent, what the heck is wrong with me? Prevent infection is to wear a mask. Even though I always hated wearing masks, I really hate wearing a mask. I actually seldom wore a mask, and that's why I caught COVID 4 times. But we need to keep a safe distance from others. I never did that either because, I live in Mexico and people here greet you with a kiss on the cheek or a hug. And finally, you need to wash your hands frequently. That I always do, and avoid crowded places. Since the outbreak began, more than 200 million people have been infected and more than 4 million have died worldwide. Many countries have imposed lockdowns, travel bans, and social distancing measures to slow down the spread of the virus. However, some people have resisted these restrictions and protested against them. They claim that they violate their rights and freedoms, or that they are based on a false or exaggerated information. So, what do you think about these protests? Do you agree or disagree with them? Let me know. Visit my YouTube channel and leave a comment somewhere in some video. So, now let's move on to some vocabulary related to COVID-19. I'll say a word or phrase and you can repeat it after me. Ready? Let's go. So, the first word we have here is vaccine. Vaccine. A substance that stimulates the body's immune system to protect against a specific disease. For example, several COVID-19 vaccines have been developed and approved for use around the world. All right, vaccine. And the next one is quarantine. Quarantine. A period of isolation for someone who has been exposed to an infectious disease. For example, if you travel from a high-risk country, you may have to quarantine for 14 days upon arrival. Quarantine. All right, and the next word is symptomatic. Symptomatic, showing signs of illness or disease. For example, if you're symptomatic, you should get tested for COVID-19 as soon as possible. Again, symptomatic. And then we have the opposite, asymptomatic, not showing any signs of illness or disease. For example, some people are asymptomatic carriers of COVID-19 and can infect others without knowing it. Asymptomatic. And the next one is pandemic. Pandemic. An outbreak of a disease that affects many people across different countries or regions. For example, COVID-19 is the worst pandemic in modern history. And that's it. So, how did you do? Did you learn some new words? If you want to review them, you can find them in the transcript of this episode on my website. So now, let's end this episode with some jokes about COVID-19. They're not offensive or insensitive. They're just meant to, lighten up your mood and make you laugh a little. So, are you ready? Here we go. First joke. I didn't really find it funny, but, here it goes anyway. What do you call a fish that wears a mask? A Corona fish. How do you know if Santa Claus has COVID-19? He has a ho-ho hoarse voice. And what do you get when you cross COVID-19 with a vampire? A coffin. All right, anyway, did you like these jokes? I hope so. I did not like them so much, but if you have any other jokes about COVID-19, feel free to go to my YouTube channel, which is linked in this podcast, so that you can comment somewhere around a video that you like. And that's all for today's episode on ESL for You. Thank you for listening and stay safe and healthy. See you next time. Bye.